You've probably heard this term floating around, right? Millennial burnout. But what if I told you it's not just exhaustion, it's something much deeper? It's meant to capture this very specific, very modern kind of exhaustion, a feeling that an entire generation is just running on empty. And believe me, it is so much more than just being tired. So let me ask you something. What if the reason you're tired isn't your fault? Does this sound familiar? You've got that mountain of laundry, you can't even remember the last time you enjoyed a hobby, and your life just feels like one long, endless cycle of work. If you're feeling overwhelmed, just completely drained most of the time, you are definitely not alone. In fact, there's a name for this entire state of existence. They're calling it the Burnout Generation. But here's where it gets interesting. What exactly is burnout really? Let's break it down. This isn't just about being sleepy after a long week. Burnout is a chronic state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion. It's that feeling of being totally depleted, unable to keep up with the relentless demands of life. And this is where things get scary. It's not about one big crisis. It's the slow, grinding pressure of a to-do list that never ends. Every time you cross one thing off, 3 more appear. And this leads to something strange. Something most people don't even realize has a name. Errand paralysis. It's not that you can't do a simple task. It's that your brain refuses to take on one more thing. Even something small feels impossible. Now here's the shocking part. This isn't rare. In India, one study found that 95% of millennials report burnout. So this raises a bigger question. Why is this happening on such a massive scale? The answer might challenge everything you've been told. A huge part of this comes down to something called a broken promise. For generations, the idea was simple. Your kids will have a better life than you. But for millennials, that didn't happen. And everything starts to unravel from here. They grew up in the optimism of the 90s, only to face skyrocketing education costs. And just as they stepped into the real world, the 2008 financial crisis hit. Careers collapsed before they even began, and the rules changed overnight. Stable jobs, affordable homes, pensions replaced by debt, instability, and uncertainty. But here's what most people miss. It's not just financial, it's psychological. You were told your entire life that you're special, that you can achieve anything. And then reality said, not really. That gap creates something powerful, cognitive dissonance. A constant internal conflict between expectation and reality. And this creates a quiet, constant stress in the background of your life. But it gets even more complicated. Because at the same time, this generation became the first to grow up with social media. They didn't just live life, they performed it. Every moment measured, every success compared. Self-worth tied to likes, comments, and validation. So now we have a deeper question. Is burnout caused by the system or by personal choices? Let's flip the perspective. Some argue this isn't systemic at all, that burnout comes from lack of discipline, that the solution is simple. Start small, take control, build momentum, clean your room, fix your habits. And here's the uncomfortable idea. What if the things you avoid are actually the things that would fix your energy? Exercise, routine, structure. A cycle where lack of action creates more exhaustion. So now we're stuck between 2 explanations, a broken system or a broken approach to life. And just as it seems like there's no clear answer, this data changes everything. In countries like Norway and Denmark, people work fewer hours and earn more. But in cities like Mumbai, people work longer hours for less. So working harder doesn't always mean getting ahead, which completely destroys the hustle harder narrative. And that brings us to the final question. After everything we've looked at, what do you actually believe? Is burnout a sign of weakness? Or is it a completely logical response to a world that keeps demanding more while giving less in return? And maybe the real answer is this. It's not just one or the other. It's both. If this video made you rethink something about your own life, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more psychology content like this.